today we got a question from PC Brett who asks, can you please do an Omaplata no-gi? So I said sure, and so that's what I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to give you a no-gi Omoplata. Really, the way that I set up the Omoplata, it doesn't really change much gi to no-gi. There's a few adjustments at the end, but the basic idea is the same, so you can do a gi or no-gi. But again, we're going to be in the no-gi for you, PC Brett. As always, this is my lovely assistant, Mr. Adam Wilson, who cannot trust catch. He did it. Look at you. I've trained you well. So we're here in this position. Recently we worked the diamond guard position, right? So it was funny. I got a message from a guy online. He said, that's the top lock position that Danaher does. And you know, again, I kind of had to laugh. Like, a lot of this stuff in jiu-jitsu, like, people call it by different names, but it's been around forever. I'm sure someone else calls it something else, but I learned the diamond guard position back in 2003 from my original coach Mike. So again, whatever you want to call it, high guard, top lock, diamond guard, whatever you want to call it, we're in this position here. So again, it's almost like you're going for an arm bar and we just lock over the top of the shoulder. Now again, it's really important that this leg locks over top of this shoulder and the leg that is underneath the armpit locks over top for it to secure, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start attacking this arm for a loose arm bar. You can finish this potentially, but a lot of times what will happen is this will get the person to pull that arm out of there. As he does this, as I feel him pull it out, right now, like if I really want to hold the position, I'll pinch and clamp. But as I feel him pull the arm out, I'll let go just so I can switch off to this wrist. Now I'm going to begin to pull this wrist here. I'm going to side crunch, and then from here, I'm going to be looking for a different grip. You can go underneath of the leg and switch like this for that basic Omoplata, which is good. The only problem that I tend to run into this, and you can switch this very easily if you get here, is that the person will either hop over me, which ends up turning into a Kimura sweep, which is perfectly fine. A lot of attacks here. There's a train, but we're not stopping. A lot of different attacks here. Or a person can actually do like a front roll, boom, and then we're coming up to this position here. So again, not necessarily the worst thing that can happen, but if you're trying to finish the Omoplata, we're gonna use a different grip. So come back to the position, we'll go back to where we just were. So just in case you were here and you were like, man, I wanna finish this, I like to take this hand out. Now, meanwhile, I'm moving my hands around, right? Because I'm kind of an expressive speaker, but the whole time I'm gonna have this wrist pinned to my hip. On this side, I want to grab the foot, and I call it, the cue that I use is the Statue of Liberty, right? Just right here, okay? And the reason why I do this is, one, see what it just did to his body? It folded him out, and this will make it easier for me to scoot away and get the finish. But come back up to your knees for me, Adam. If I get a hold of this foot and he starts trying to hop over me, it's very difficult to hop over because we're controlling this leg. Because go back up to your knees for me, Adam. Because if you think about it, if he wants to hop over, he has to have control of this leg so he can get this part of his body over, okay? He can still sometimes roll, but it's still more difficult to do. Now, once we create that space, we scoot our body away as we're pushing him up. We're gonna sit up to the side here. And again, guys, when you, we'll come out of this position for just a second. Whenever you finish this position, it's basically a Kimura, it's a shoulder lock. Just go super slow because again, you're attacking the most mobile joint in the body, and it's one of those things where it's not the same if you really mess it up. So again, catch fast, finish slow. So it's gonna be like this. I'm gonna lean into the position. So once we get here, you're basically just gonna be lifting your butt and going forward. Okay, so we get back into the position here, and everybody's going to be different as far as their level of flexibility. Here, I'm going to post, lean, that's it. Some guys are more flexible than others. Adam's not a flexible dude, and then we just keep going. But basically the idea is that if the guy was really flexible, you would be almost doing like coming up to like a technical base, right? Just kind of scooting that back, your body back, okay? Now let's look at it, setting that up from the beginning with that foot grip to set up that Statue of Liberty position, okay? So again, the way I set up that diamond guard is sort of like almost like going for an arm bar. I cut a slight angle, lock over top, okay? Now again, I'm pinching right now. I'm really making it tough for him to pull his arm out. As I feel him pull out, I will let go so I can switch. Now, we're gonna do a hard side crunch, grab the foot, and then as I throw this leg up, I wanna have this snap down, right? So it's not just throwing right here. I wanna open, bang, and I can get a nice downward pressure from that thing. From here, pinching, I'm gonna scoot my hips out, sit up, and then from there, we can finish this thing. Okay, and again, all we're doing is leaning forward, and then gotta go easy, because I don't want poor Adam to get all messed up. But that is the move. That is the Omoplata. That's un-Omoplata. There's a lot of ways to finish this. In the gi, there's a lot of different variations, and even in the no-gi, there's a lot of variations. But most often, when I'm using it in no-gi, that's the typical variation I use, is that grip on the foot, trying to straighten it out, scooting my body away, and then sitting up for the finish and trying to go for it. And again, if it works out as a sweep, it's fine. For a lot of you guys, especially the bigger guys on the channel, I know that you guys watch a lot, or if you've got shorter legs, you can use the triangle position. So instead of going for a full triangle choke, you can use the triangle as kind of just a nice setup to go for that Omoplata. And again, it works for shorter legs, things like that. So, yeah. So PC Brett, whatever your name might be, hope that's helpful to you, brother. I'm finished. Adam?
Adam.